It's a nice view, wouldn't you agree? These two kayakers, they just passed and now they're staring up all the water. But you can take some really tranquil, quiet pictures here normally. And I really enjoy visiting this spot now and then. It's a little bit the same story here on the other side. Just a nice view. So I guess the $1 million question is, fantastic frustrations. Is that just clickbait, Frederik? Or is there actually something to it? And I would actually claim that I hope after you have watched this video that you will agree that your photography frustrations, they are actually fantastic if you put them in the right light. So what are those frustrations? Well, it can be anything, you know. You probably once tried to forget your memory card, right? Or you stood somewhere with a flat battery and you hadn't got a spare, or you brought a short lens when you needed a long, or vice versa. And all of these things, they're frustrating. So for instance, I've forgotten my memory card so many times. I can't even count it. And it seems to be a thing that I need to learn again and again. But I guess nobody's perfect. So I read this interview with a young man. I'm not sure how old he was, maybe around 30 or so, I think. And he's overweight. I think it's a big problem for the society in general. I think many are, myself including. I have a few COVID kilos that I haven't dropped. And yeah, my wife mocks me and says I can't fit my old trousers, and it is what it is. I mean, it's annoying, frustrating even, but I can't seem to lose them. But I mean, it isn't a bigger problem than that. But this young man, the doctors say if he doesn't change his lifestyle, he won't live much longer. They're not specific, but you sense that we're not talking long. So they made a TV series about him where they follow this young man, and I haven't seen it, but I did read an interview with him. And one of the things that came out in that interview was the journalist asked him, was there something in your life that suddenly changed because he hadn't been overweight his whole life? And this young man, he said, yes, I lost my job. And I think he did not only lose his job, he lost his job, and it was also a trainee position. So he was sort of both being educated and had a job. So I think there were several layers in what he lost. So of course, he basically never came back from that experience. And then the interviewer asked him, so what happened? And then this, I was about to call him a kid, but he is a young man. He said, you know, I just stopped caring. And that hit me. I mean, that really got to me. I mean, he just stopped caring about anything. So his lifestyle from there on became, got up in the morning, played some video games, ordered some takeaway food, and never left the flat. And that's basically how he has been living. And of course, when you live like that, it's not good. Things don't go well, and you don't get the exercise you need, and you gain weight, and so on and so forth. But it was that moment where he said, I just stopped caring. He had no ambitions. He didn't want to do anything. He didn't want to achieve anything. He just wanted to sit in his flat and yeah, basically be there. So reading that interview, it just got me thinking that all the frustrations that you have as a photographer, the examples I gave earlier, that, you know, you make all these mistakes and it's frustrating, or you can't succeed what you're trying to do, but you're driven by something. You have an ambition, there's something you want to do. And that's the positive thing. The frustrations are a sign that something is trying to knock you out of the direction you're trying to go in, your ambition. And yeah, that was actually the point with the fantastic photography frustrations. just 2 minutes ago, the sun broke through the clouds and it looked amazing. Now it's a little bit different. I've tried to shoot some images here, but I never really caught the scene the way I wanted to. But I enjoy actually having these spots I can revisit and then see if I can be a better photographer for every time I visit these spots. Right down here there is a spot where I think this was the first time I had an experience as a photographer that I came home with something that I was happy about. You know, I thought that's not too bad, Frederick. That's actually okay. It's been raining. I just passed some people. They were out in their sneakers, would you believe? This is not sneakers weather, if you ask me. You need to have some really good shoes. Hang on. So here's the spot. And I can assure you, on a summer's evening, when you see this side here with a wide lens, that can be really some nice images you can shoot here. You have these stones in the foreground, sort of a Zen-like feel to it. Then you have some dramatic clouds, and typically the sun will set out here. So I come here often to take images, and I hope you can understand why. See, in this little group of trees, you have the lake out there in the background, and then these trees to sort of give a feeling of depth in the image. So that can also give some really nice images. And when it's windless, the reflections there can also give some good effects. And then of course, if I just take a step to the left here, I have to find an angle so the garbage can that has been put there is not too dominating in the frame. Just want to show you the pier here behind me. It really also is a good subject for a good image, especially if you get something like this. You see the clouds out there, they are really making a nice formation. And of course also helps that there are two people walking there to give some perspective. I would imagine I have a few terabytes of this little pier here. On the subject of frustrations, I also want to show you some images that I shot the other day in a misty morning. And normally I can't figure out how to shoot in mist, but I think that it's because you need to have something that is sort of out of the mist and then something that's into the mist in order for it to work. And of course you can say, thank you for that, Frederick. You are King Obvious. But it wasn't so obvious for me until I found out how it worked. So let me show you some images. So I thought I would end this video here with a view here over the lake and maybe also the clouds here. And the weather has been really bad today, and I was tempted to sit indoors and just leave it at that. But as Galen says in his book, maybe not in so many words, but I'm sure that was one of his points, is that if you want to have some exceptional pictures, you got to do what everybody else don't want to do. And one of those things is to go out when the weather is bad. Yep, that's it from me. As always, happy shooting. Take care. Bye bye.